guys, so it's been a while and it has been so crazy since I last filmed. I'm not sure when I actually did last film. I'm pretty sure it was a couple of months ago, so a lot has changed, needless to say. Um, so today's video is just basically going to be me talking about my labour. So if you didn't already know, I was pregnant and I've obviously had my baby now, and in this video he's not actually going to be in it because, well, first he's with my mum, so I'm actually having a chance to sit down and actually talk about everything. That's not the reason he's with my mum obviously, but my mum's taking him away to my nanny's house and he's going to be there for about an hour, so he isn't actually here for the video anyway, otherwise I probably would have included him in it. So yeah, I'm going to do another separate video all about him, so I don't really want to talk much about him or his weight or anything like that there. I'm going to talk about me, my labour and my experience in delivery, and then maybe next week or the week after I'm going to talk all about him and possibly include him in the video. I'm just not too sure if I want to do that or not, because obviously I have pictures and everything on my social medias, but I don't really know if I want to expose them, if that makes any sense, just to YouTube. I don't know. I have mixed opinions on it, just because a lot of people have said, you know, you don't need to film your own baby kind of thing, even though he's all over my Instagram, my Facebook, he's been on my Twitter, so yeah. But first of all, I want to start off with my contractions. So I was about, I think, 7-8 months pregnant, and I was getting contractions. Well, I thought they were contractions. I was getting really bad pains, and obviously I just, you know, got through it, because I thought he's not going to come anyway because it's too early. In my opinion, it was too early, so I didn't think much into it. And obviously I got bigger and gradually my belly was dropping a wee bit more, so it was more struggle on me, and my back was 10 times worse than what it was the pain, so everything just sort of got worse, but again I didn't think anything of it. I just thought this is just to be expected. So long story short, I ended up being in slow labour for, I'd say, about a month before having him. So obviously it was, I could cope with it, and then all of a sudden I couldn't cope with it anymore. Obviously that was when it got worse and he was on his way. So I'm going to fast forward then to, I would say, about 2 weeks before he was born. So I was getting wee niggly pains, and it happened every single night, I would say, from about 10 o'clock until about 2 o'clock in the morning. And little did I know they were proper contractions, but again, I wasn't thinking of anything of it. I thought, you know, my waters have to break. In my head, my waters had to break first before he was coming, even though that's not the case at all. So again, just carried on, and then I had an appointment to go to. No, sorry, that's a lie. So it was a Sunday. I did have an appointment to go to, but it was a Sunday, and my boyfriend came home from work, and I didn't feel very well, and so he lay beside me, he rubbed my back and everything, and I got this really, really bad pain. So I was just lying there, and I said to my boyfriend, can you please go get my mum, like I want to see what she thinks of this, because obviously she's had children, so she sort of knows a wee bit more than I would know. So he got mum, and by the time mum had came up, I had got myself off the bed, and I was sitting there in a lot of pain obviously, and I didn't know what was going on. My mum says, right, you need to get up, and I says, no, I can't physically get up. So I got on all fours from my bed, and I just, you know, clenched my fist and whatever, and was just crying my wee heart out because it was so awful. The pain was just unbearable. So I made it to the bathroom. Mum says, you know, try go to the toilet, try pee, whatever. So sat in the toilet was unbearable, got back up, and I was just sort of leant over on certain things like cabinets and the banister, and it was awful. And then obviously she had rang the assessment unit, and they said you need to come over. So went over to the assessment unit, and they done all the examinations, checked my blood pressure. My blood pressure was very high, and then they checked to see if I was dilated or anything. So it turns out that I was dilated. I was 1 centimetre dilated, and that freaks me out a lot because I thought, you know, in my head again, I thought 1 centimetre dilated is a lot. He's going to be here within a few hours. So that was that, and they said I could go home, you know, it's nothing to worry about, but because I was so sore and I'd been getting injections and I suffer with anxiety, so I was having panic attack on top of getting these contractions, and obviously they had put me on a monitor, and I was obviously contracting, so they knew something was happening at least. That was grand. And so they said I could go home, but I also could stay if I wanted to. So I said I'm going to stay just to be observed, because I don't want to go home and freak out if I get a worse pain, like, you know, my pain gets worse or something else happens, because I freak out. And I normally got my pains like in the middle of the night, so it was more or less me having to deal with it, just because I didn't want to wake up my boyfriend or wake up my mum, because I had so many scares before and we hiccups that I thought he is going to come, but he actually didn't come. So I thought this was just another one. So they kept me in overnight and I was up all night with pains, but again, nothing really happened. And I got sent home the next day, thankfully, but I was still in a lot of pain. So obviously I just came home just relaxed. Everyone was doing everything for me and looking after me. And the Tuesday was the same. Well, that day it was the same Tuesday. I just sat and did nothing. And then the Wednesday, I had an appointment at the hospital just for, I think it was my 38 weeks. It was 39 weeks appointment. And before that, the early hours of the morning, I got up with these really bad pains, and I knew something else was, like, I knew it was wrong, like there was something wrong with me, because the pain was increasingly worse. So I said to my mum, I slept with my mum, by the way, a lot of the time during my pregnancy. I just felt comfortable being with her. My boyfriend lives with me, like, but I wanted to sleep with my mum. And so I went into her and I got up and I was like, Mum, there's something wrong. But I said, I'm going to go downstairs and just bounce in the ball, and, you know, I'm going to cope with it myself, because it was so early in the morning, like I felt so bad. So I came downstairs and I just done the usual, bouncing on the ball, and got heat compressants and put them on my stomach just to see if it would help the pain, because again it's like a crampy sort of feeling, so I thought it would help. And it settled a little bit and then got worse again. So I got to the hospital, they checked my blood pressure again, it was high, so they were very concerned because I was so far gone and I was 1 centimetre dilated from the Sunday, so they were like, right, we're going to keep you in. So I went over, got checked again, you know, everything was grand in the end, and I went up to the ward, and I obviously was staying there for, well, we'll get into that, I was staying there for a while. So whenever I got up there, about half an hour in, my boyfriend turned around to me and goes, imagine your water's just broke. And I said, no, don't say that, because I'm freaking out here. I'm thinking the baby's coming and I didn't know what to do. I felt like I wasn't prepared, even though I was. So him joking around saying that there, it happened. So I was sitting there and I thought I paid myself, to be honest. I turned around to him and I said, like, Connor, that's my boyfriend's name, Connor, I think I've paid myself. And I felt like my dignity just went there anyway, so I was just like, put my hand down there and I was just like, right, either I really need to pee or my water should broke. So I stood up anyway and they gushed out of me, and, well, TMI, but I'm just going to be real and honest. And I'm just glad that it happened in hospital, because if I went home and it happened and say my boyfriend or my mum or my brother wasn't in the house, I would be like, oh my god, what's happening. So I'm glad it happened in the hospital. But anyway, that happened, got everything sorted, and the people tell you that it's either a gush or it's like a trickle. I got both. I had the gush and I had the trickle for about a day. So yes, that was the Wednesday, and I was in the hospital anyway, and my water had broke, my contractions were coming, and then this stopped. So this stopped completely, which was so annoying. And long story short, then on the Thursday they wanted to induce me. Was it Thursday? Yeah, it was Thursday. They wanted to induce me. So I went into the delivery suite and I got 2 pessaries. So if you don't know what a pessary is, it's like a wee tablet that goes inside you, and it is supposed to bring on the contractions or make them more frequent. And I feel like they did come a little bit more, but again, it didn't really help that much. And on top of that, I was getting bloods done, I was getting everything done just to make sure everything was okay and baby was okay. So they said if we can't get you into labour, we're gonna have to bring in the day after and induce you, induce you. So the Friday came anyway, and still nothing happened, just loads of pains. And they brought me around to another wee suite, and they put me on a drip. So the drip basically makes your contractions come and go, come and go. So they were putting it up and up and up, and my contractions were getting increasingly worse. So obviously I was 3 centimeters dilated then, and it was amazing how that worked. And on top of that, I then got the epidural, and I just want to say the epidural isn't the best thing. I mean, it took away a lot of my pain, but it didn't take away obviously at all. But I felt like I could still feel a lot going on, and the only thing that actually helped me was my gas nerve to make me feel like, you know, it wasn't as bad. And I also got what's it called, morphine. I got 2 sets of that, which I did not realise. And so basically, whatever amount of hours passed, it got increasingly worse and the baby was coming. So they checked and I was 3 centimeters dilated, and they said, right, it's going to be another wee while before the baby's here. And I said, right, okay. So I got this pressure in my lower right side, which was crazy. It was just so sore, and I felt the need to push. And I said to the woman, I think I need to push. Like, you know, the only way I could describe it is like a poo, like if you really need to go to the toilet or something, and it was a lot sore than that. So anyway, I really felt the need to push. Before anyone could tell me, you know, to do it or not to do it, I was pushing. And she says, you can't be ready to push yet because you're only 3 centimeters dilated. And I says, no, I need to push. So she checked again, and it turns out that I was fully dilated, which was crazy because she literally only checked me and examined me about 15 minutes before that. So that's how crazy and fast it went. So that was it, and it was like all real and all kicking in. So my boyfriend, of course, was with me the whole time. He was amazing, absolutely phenomenal. And my mum was, of course, but my mum had went over to my nanny's or went to the shop or something, so she wasn't there at the time. And then he texted her and was like, you need to come to the hospital, or Ryan, you need to come to the hospital, she's in labour, like she's going to have the baby. And whenever I heard him say that, it all hit me, and I got so scared and so frightened because obviously this was it. Like in a matter of minutes or a matter of hours, my baby was going to be in my arms. So that was it. And my mum came, and obviously she had freaked out, ran to the hospital, found me, and there was only supposed to be one person there, and that was my boyfriend, to be with me the whole of labour. But it turns out my mum just ran in, didn't care what anyone had to say, and she was with me too, which was amazing because it was so nice to have that experience with like the love of my life and my mum, like, you know, 2 amazing, perfect, wonderful people, and you know, 2 very important people in my life. So it's so nice to be able to share it with both of them. So yes, that happened, and I started pushing. It was so crazy, and the thoughts that were going through my head was just, you know, I felt like I wasn't actually pregnant. I wasn't actually pushing my baby out, because although it was the longest 9 months of my life, it felt like I wasn't actually pregnant with my own little mini me. But it all hit me anyway, and I thought, okay, right. And I was so motivated. It's so crazy to say. I was in labour for 6 proper full days, or maybe 5 full days, 5-6 days. And I was so tired, barely had any sleep, but as soon as I knew the baby was coming, I got so motivated, which was crazy. And it was so amazing, and I ended up getting him pushed out from whenever I was fully dilated in 20, I think it was 20 minutes or half an hour. Now my boyfriend and my mum know better than me because I was so out of it. But yes, he was born at 4:56, and his name is James. So again, I'm going to do another video about all that. But yes, his name is James William Gibson Knight, and I am so incredibly in love with him. So whenever he did come out, he wasn't breathing, which was so scary for me. Because of my morphine, I had 2 lots of it on top of everything else. So that dropped his wee heart rate, so we didn't really do well during the delivery time. And he ended up being a forceps delivery as well. So when he came out, he wasn't breathing for, it felt like an hour to me, but it was only about 10-15 minutes. And he got like everything he needed to get. He got seen to, and they were so brilliant. They looked after him. They looked after him so well, and me so well. And he eventually came around to court, and it was, I just remember thinking that cry is the best thing that I've ever heard. And even now to this day, when he cries, it's the most wonderful sound. It just brings me back to the time, obviously, whenever I gave birth to him and I couldn't hear that, and then I did hear it, and I just said, you know, I said to myself, he could be squealing constantly, and I'm just going to be so happy because that is the cry that I longed and wished to hear. So yes, he's actually 6 weeks old today, which is mind-blowing because I feel like it's just went so quick in a way, also so slow. I don't know, I've been treasuring every single moment with him, which I feel like that's where the slowness comes in, because every, like, you know, I'm sitting there staring at him and watching the time go by, and it's phenomenal that I have my own baby boy, and my boyfriend as well. Like, we were both so over the moon and so in love with him, and the support that my boyfriend and my mum had given me during the pregnancy and during the labour was absolutely amazing. And I just want to say as well, like, you see them all in a different way, and it makes you appreciate and love them in a whole different way and on another different level. Um, I always wondered, like, whenever I was pregnant, what it would be like, you know, whenever James had came out, and would it make things worse, would it make things better between me and my boyfriend, and would things change? And things definitely did change, but for the better. I feel like I have seen my boyfriend in a different way, and he's seen me obviously in a different way. He's seen me so vulnerable, and I just feel like it's brought us so close together, and now that we're just this family knit of three, it's amazing. Again, I will do a separate video all about James and everything, but I just wanted to film this because obviously I haven't been on YouTube in a very long time, and I just sort of wanted to let you guys know I've had my baby, and he is amazing. He's just the best thing I could have ever asked for. Again, that's his wee Moses basket there. But yes, that's all about my labour and delivery, and I just want to say it wasn't actually that bad. I mean, it was bad, but I feel like I can't really remember that much. It hasn't scared me off having any more children. In the future, me and my boyfriend will definitely have more, or maybe one or two more. But that's it, and I'm so happy. And it's just weird that it's over, like the pregnancy is over, but again, it's only beginning with my baby. So I am going to stop it there, and yeah, I'm not going to say whenever I'm going to have a video up, because I always do this and I end up not actually filming. But again, I'm going to do actually I might do a video on how I've been feeling after the delivery, and then about James. I'll decide on a different day. But I will see you again very, very soon, and I really hope you enjoyed the video.